started taking classes governance, civil services. Let us start. Take notes in the class. Whatever I am going to say, because I will be printed notes at the end of the classes. So the first topic that we will start our discussion with is concepts of ethics, morals, and values. These are the similar terms which are used interchangeably in common language, but there are technical differences between them. So let us start with ethics. Ethics comes from the Greek word ethos, okay, which means custom or way of life, a habit or way of life. Okay. So if you have to define ethics, ethics refers to a generally accepted set of principles and standards. Generally accepted set of principles and standards used by an individual, institution, or society. An individual, institution, or society to determine the goodness, badness, or rightness, wrongness of thought, behavior, and actions. Behavior and actions. Okay, so what is ethics? Ethics is a generally accepted set of principles and standards. Okay, it is generally accepted. It means that ethics has universal acceptance. Okay, it is rational, it is objective. There is no subjectivity regarding it. Used by an individual, institution, or society. So it is used at three levels. It can be used by one individual, it can be used by an institution as well as by the society. For what purpose? To determine the goodness, badness, rightness, wrongness of thought, behavior, and actions. Okay. Ethics is essentially about making the right choices. Ethics helps us, knowledge of ethics helps us in making the right choices. See, every day we make so many choices, either knowingly or unknowingly. Okay, we might not be aware that we are making a choice, but we make a choice. Okay. For instance, for you people, you have to make a choice whether to come to class on time or not. Okay. If you are getting late, you have to make a choice whether to jump the red light or not. If you get caught while jumping the red light, you have to make a choice whether to pay bribe or not. Okay. So every day, knowingly, unknowingly, we make a lot of choices. Knowledge of ethics helps in making us the right choice. Okay. Morals. Next is morals. Morals refer to a set of beliefs and ideas Morals refer to a set of beliefs or ideas used by an individual to guide his or her thought, behavior, and actions. To guide his or her thought, behavior, and actions. Okay. So morals are used only by an individual. Ethics was used at three levels: individual, institution, society. Morals are used only by an individual at individual level, basically to guide their thought, behavior and actions, to determine the goodness, badness, rightness, wrongness of their thought, behavior and actions. Okay. Now morals are subjective. Okay, it will vary from individual to individual. Okay, we will discuss examples later. Third is values. Values refer to a set of enduring beliefs, attitude or preferences, used by a collective entity. Such as a society or a community. To determine the goodness, badness, rightness, wrongness of thought, behavior and actions. Badness, rightness, wrongness of thought, behavior and actions. Okay, so values क्या है? Values are a set of enduring beliefs and preferences and attitude used by a collective entity. Values are used only by a collective entity, such as a society or a community. Okay, it is not used by an individual. Okay. The purpose or objective of all these three concepts, ethics, morals and values, is the same: to guide their thought, behavior and actions, and to determine the goodness, badness, rightness, wrongness of thought, behavior and actions. What is the difference? Ethics is used at three levels: individual, institution, society. Morals are used only at an individual level, and values are used only at a collective level. Okay, at the level of society or community. Okay, ethics are rational. They are objective. तो जितने भी ethical principles हैं, ethical theories हैं, they are rational, they are objective, they have universal acceptance. Okay. Whereas morals and values are subjective. Morals differ from individual to individual, values differ from society to society and from community to community. Okay. Let us discuss few examples. For example, ethics के examples क्या हो जाएंगे? We will read about different normative ethical theories. Okay, later. Okay, we will read about teleological theory, deontological theory, etc. Okay, these theories and the principles which are prescribed by these theories, they have universal acceptance. Okay, and they are used by individual, institution as well as society. So those are examples of ethics. If we talk of values, I told that values are subjective. They differ from society to society and from community to community. For instance, Western societies are based on a different set of values. Western societies are based on values of individualism. Okay, individualism means they give more significance, they give more importance to individual liberty, individual freedom. Individual rights are more important than rights of the state. Okay. Then there is something called achievement norms in Western societies. Your status in the society, in a Western society, depends on your merit. Those are meritocratic societies. On the other hand, if we talk of Oriental societies or Eastern societies such as India, okay, these are based on principles of collectivism. Okay, your collective identity is more important than your individual identity. So these societies are characterized by what is known as ascriptive norms. ठीक है, Western societies में achievement norms थे, Eastern societies में we have ascriptive norms. Ascriptive norm means your position in the society is ascribed to your subnational identity, not your merit. Okay, so your subnational identity can be your class, caste, religion, ethnicity, etc. Okay. Similarly, different communities have different value systems, and different religions have their own personal laws. Islam has its own personal law, Hindus have their own personal laws, Christians have their own personal laws. And these personal laws codify the value system of that religion. Okay, different caste groups or different tribes, they have their own system of values. Okay. These are all examples of values. Okay. Morals का क्या examples होगा? I told that morals are subjective, they differ from individual to individual. Okay. So for instance, my morals would be different from your morals, his morals would be different from your morals. So my morals may tell me that it is perfectly fine for women to smoke or drink. Okay. Your morals might tell you otherwise. Similarly, our attitude towards different social issues, political issues, etc. is governed by our morals. For example, what is our attitude or what is our opinion on issues such as homosexuality, okay, or abortion, or euthanasia. Okay, it will differ from individual to individual. Okay, so morals are subjective; they differ from individual to individual. Okay, the distinction is clear between ethics, morals, and values. Note two questions. Ethics constrained by values motivate. Ethics constrained while values motivate. Second question is, ethics is the systematic examination Ethics is the systematic examination, justification, and critical analysis of morals and values. Discuss. Okay, so first question is ethics constrained by values motivate. Anything? I mean, what will you write? The question comes, ethics constrained by values motivate, comment. First of all, the question is comment. So, you can agree with the statement or you can disagree with the statement. It depends on you. Okay, so in any answer, you have to highlight both the sides of the picture. Okay. If you agree, how? If you don't agree, how? Okay. So you agree with the statement? Ethics constrained by values motivate. What does this statement mean?
Basically, right, ethics prohibit every community to act in a subjective manner, but values promote them to act in a subjective manner, to do whatever the things they think which is right.
Okay, can you think of an example? Again, ethics paper is all about examples. You have to write as little theory and then you have to focus on examples. So, what kind of examples can you give?
Same example. So, in Western society, it is free for women to smoke at night, but in Indian society, it is not like that. This is means if we consider ethics.
That example I gave in the context of values, not in the context of ethics. Ethics is something which has universal acceptance. You know, the ethical theories and principles they are not subjective. Values are subjective. They differ from society to society. So the example that you are giving and that we discussed was in the context of values, not in the context of ethics.
So then give the example of patriarchal societies. As a society, we are following the community societies. We are the community societies. As values, which are individual based. So as far as the females are concerned, so because of patriarchal societies, they are subordinate to males.
That is an example of values. Our value system is such that it encourages patriarchal behavior,
Yes.
because of which women are relegated to a subordinate status as compared to men.
Yes, but then too, females are too motivated. They can be motivated. They have values. By that values, they can be considered as equal to male.
So gender parity is the universal ethics, but in West Asian countries, women will not be treated the same as men.
It's Asian societies, particularly India.
West Asian societies. Okay. Anything else? Any other example that you can think of?
So there's a refugee, so now we are having shelter to refugees. In that case, as per the UN norms, I mean, it should be accepted globally. It's a norm that every country should provide shelter sort of thing for the refugees, which should be followed. But from the value point of view, in India, few might accept and few don't accept. In a particular society, let's say in the northeastern state, a few communities might not accept. I mean, as a community sort of thing, their values are their values are different from the other communities, which is not permissible from their point of view. Like giving shelter to the refugees is not that much good.
So it's an environmental level. Developed countries will think like to say the environment to conserve it, but developed countries do not agree.
See, whatever examples you people are giving, all those are examples of subjectivity in values across different cultures. Okay. So Western and Eastern. यहाँ पर ethics का clear नहीं हो रहा है कि how does ethics constrain our behavior. Okay. See, the difference between ethics and values is essentially the difference between means and an end. So our values motivate us. How do our values motivate us? Our values motivate us to decide the final objective or decide the final goal. What do we want in life? Okay, for example, I have led a life of poverty. So my value system motivates me to be materialistic. Okay, I want money in life, I want to earn money. Okay, that is part of my value system. Okay, so the final end outcome or what is it that we want to achieve, that is determined by our value system. Our values motivate us, they act as a stimulus, okay, in our decision regarding the end objective. Ethics constrain us in terms of deciding what means are to be adopted to achieve this end. For example, my value system motivates me to earn money in life. Okay, that is how my values motivate me. However, ethics constrain in terms of earning money in a legitimate manner. It puts restrictions on my behavior and actions. Are you understanding? So that is how ethics constrain us. Okay. Similarly, say our values motivate us to do public service. Okay. I want to work for the society. I want to help the underprivileged sections of the society. That is part of my value system. So my values motivate me to do public service. Okay. So my values has basically helped in deciding the end objective. I want to do something for others, that is my end objective.
So that can be made as values can be at individual level.
When we are part of the society, when individuals are part of the society, as when we are talking in terms of our behavior in the context of social function, okay, then we can talk values in terms of individuals also. Okay. But generally values are used at the level of collective entity. When we talk of larger social context, then values can also be talked in for individuals. Okay. Similarly, public service I was talking. Okay. My values motivate me to serve the people. Ethics will constrain in terms of what are the means that I am going to adopt to serve the people. Okay. I can serve the people in various ways. I can either enter the civil services, I can enter politics, or I can rob a bank and then distribute the money amongst the world. That is also one way of serving the society. वो Robin Hood type behavior जो होता है. Okay. So ethics will constrain in terms of putting restrictions on us how to achieve the final end objective. I understand. Yeah. This is just one side of the picture. The ethics constrained by values motivate. At the same time, ethics can motivate us also. See, ethics can be both positive as well as negative. When it is negative, it puts restrictions on our behavior and action. This is not the right thing to do. But it can be positive also. It can also tell us this is the right thing to do. And there are certain ethical values, honesty, integrity, truthfulness, non-violence. Ethics also encourages us or motivates us to follow these virtues. So ethics can motivate also, it can constrain also. But values generally motivate. Yeah. Next question, can ethics is the systematic examination, justification, and critical analysis of morals and values. Are you able to understand this statement?
Where the values take to achieve the thing in the perspective of ethics.
Analysis
of the way one should take to achieve the end.
Okay, that is what we discussed now. This question is different.
It's the question is a systematic examination. It is talking about that. As per the definition, like morals is from the individual perspective and values from the collective entity. So if we talk, let's say it's a community which has a specific values, and now when we examine whether this set of values can be accepted on a global basis or not, and we choose the right values from that which can be accepted globally. At the same time, from an individual perspective, which is morals, and we also look from that perspective whether this set of values from the individual perspective can be accepted globally or not, and picking those values which can be accepted globally form a set of values which make the ethics.
You can say that it is legitimate or not. In one word, you can say can be legitimate or not.
What can be legitimate?
Morals and values, which is followed by whomsoever. And so ethics will say, okay, it is legitimate or not.
Okay. Yeah, both of you are partially correct. So basically, as you said, how do we formulate any ethical theory, or how any theory is formulated? Okay, even in science, you are all must be from science background. Okay. So in science, how is any theory formulated? What is the process of formulation of any scientific theory? Yeah. So you form a hypothesis first, okay, on the basis of empirical observation. Okay, then you test the hypothesis using data collection, data analysis, data interpretation. Finally, you conclude whether the hypothesis was correct or not. Similarly, in social science also, theories are formulated in a similar way. Okay. So as you said, how are ethical theories formulated? By analyzing and examining and scrutinizing the values of different cultures and morals of different individuals. And values differ from society to society, from culture to culture. Morals differ from individual to individual. Okay. So after empirically analyzing the values of different cultures and societies and morals of different individuals, okay, those values and those morals which have universal acceptance, they become part of ethics. Ethics has universal acceptance, morals and values are subjective. However, we pick and choose those morals and values which have universal acceptance, which are common across different cultures and different individuals. And that is how ethical theories are formed. Okay? So this is the meaning of this. Okay? Okay. So we have discussed the same. In common language, ethics, morals and values are used interchangeably. We say he is an ethical person, he is a moral person. Okay. So in common language it is used interchangeably. Only if a question comes, what is the difference between ethics, morals and values, then make the distinction. Okay. Otherwise, I mean, if you are writing any other answer, okay, you can use them interchangeably. Ethics, morals, values. Okay. Next, fallacies in ethical reasoning. Fallacies. So yesterday I told you the meaning of fallacy. What does a fallacy mean? Something which is not true, something which seems to be true but it is not. Okay. So many times, see again, ethics is a very multi-dimensional concept. It is very difficult to define ethics, although we have defined ethics for the purpose of examination. But again, it's a very ambiguous, it's a very expansive concept. So it is much easier to define what ethics is not than what ethics is. Okay, so moral fallacies in ethical reasoning will deal with what ethics is not. Okay, first is ethics and culture. Ethics and culture. And the fallacy is known as moral conventionalism. First fallacy is moral conventionalism. This analyzes the relationship between ethics and culture. One commits this fallacy, moral conventionalism, right? One commits this fallacy if one suggests that acceptance by the society. One commits this fallacy if one suggests that acceptance by the society is the benchmark to assess the morality of an action. By the society is the benchmark to assess the morality of an action. Okay. So what is this fallacy about? Basically confusing ethics with culture. Okay. When we say that just because something is part of our culture or something which has social sanction, therefore it is ethical, then we commit this fallacy. Okay. Can you think of examples? Yes, triple talaq. Or things which were historically part of our culture or which are still part of our culture but they are not ethical. Female infanticide, sati, untouchability. Okay, they were part of our culture. They had social and cultural sanction but they could not be considered ethical. Okay. Dowry. In the Western context, slavery and apartheid had cultural sanction and a racial discrimination. Okay, but it did not make those acts ethical. Kham panchayats, they also have cultural acceptance. Okay, but
should have to be ethical.
generally it is used in a negative sense. That something negative that has cultural sanction. Okay, and we try to justify that action by saying that it is acceptable as society. Similarly, in many of the West Asian countries, these are known as GCC countries, Gulf Cooperation Council countries. How many members are there in GCC countries?
24.
Just the 5 or 6 countries in the Arabian Peninsula, Saudi Arabia, Oman, UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain. Okay, these 5 countries form the GCC. Okay, so now Oman is so GCC countries may again, or for that matter, other West Asian countries also. Okay, there are a number of practices which are discriminatory against women. Okay, Parda or Sharia law. Okay, so they defend those practices by saying that it's part of their culture. Okay, but again, from an ethics point of view, those practices are not ethical or acceptable. Okay. Okay. Even there is a festival called Gadhi Mai festival in Nepal. Okay, Gadhi Mai festival in Nepal, and in that festival, like, thousands of cattle are slaughtered. Gadhi Mai. So again, Nepal justifies this festival invoking its culture and heritage and society norms. Okay, however, it cannot be by any stretch of the imagination, it cannot be considered as. Okay. Next is moral legalism, next fallacy. So this fallacy was moral conventionalism. This analyzed the relationship between ethics and culture. Second is moral legalism. This analyzes the relationship between ethics and law. Okay. One commits this fallacy, moral legalism, when one commits this fallacy, if one suggests that sanction or prohibition by the law is the benchmark to assess the morality of an action. So the relationship between ethics and law can be described visually in the form of this Venn diagram. Okay. This is ethics, this is law. Okay. This is the point of intersection. This includes activities which are ethical but illegal. Includes activities which are legal but unethical. Okay, so you might get a question, right? What is ethical can be illegal and what is legal can be unethical. Okay. So what you can do, you can just draw a table. and law यूज करके how many combinations are possible? Using ethics and law, how many combinations? Four. So we can have ethical legal, we can have ethical illegal, we can have unethical legal, and we can have unethical illegal. Okay, these four combinations are possible, and we have to give examples for each of these combinations. Okay, so for like our concern is with these two, ethical illegal and unethical legal. Okay, most of the laws fall either in the ethical legal category or unethical illegal category. Okay, so for example ethical legal category में क्या examples दे सकते हैं? Something which is
abolition of sati,
abolition of sati, abolition of dowry,
child employment prohibition.
Child Labor Prohibition Act. Okay. Similarly, recently the government has framed rules for protecting good Samaritans. You understand good Samaritan? Who is a good Samaritan?
Which they reviewed
Yeah. So basically, those who help accident victims in particular. Okay. So earlier, what used to happen that if any person is helping some accident victim, then the police used to harass that person. Okay, by asking various questions, etc. So that's why recently government has formulated rules to protect good Samaritans so that they are not harassed by the law enforcement agencies. So it is an example of a law which promotes ethical behavior on part of citizens. Okay. Ethical illegal. Okay, something which is prohibited by law or which was prohibited by law, but the underlying act was ethical. Can you think of examples? Something which is prohibited by law, but ethically the act is considered to be acceptable. क्या example दे सकते हैं? Section 377. What is section 377? Rights of LGBT. Carnal intercourse against the order of nature. So section 377 basically prohibits homosexuality or illegalizes homosexuality. Okay, however, again the general consensus is that this is not ethical, as in rights of the LGBT community is part of the societal ethical framework. Okay, so it is an example of something which is illegal but ethical. Okay, similarly what say Mahatma Gandhi did during freedom struggle, civil disobedience, satyagraha, etc. All those activities were prohibited by law. They were against the British law at that time. Okay, but again those acts were considered to be ethical. Okay. Unethical but legal. Something which is sanctioned by law, something which is legal, but from an ethics point of view it is questionable. Which law we have to no, but यहाँ पर we are talking of laws which allow something. Okay, we have a law which allows something, but which is unethical. We have to give those examples for which a law exists. Why it is unethical? You are saying giving asylum to people who are seeking asylum is unethical. Okay, you are talking of those people, like the fugitives.
It's a refugee deportation.
refugee deportation. Okay, yes. Anything else? You can also give the example of section 124A of IPC, which deals with sedition. Section 124A of IPC dealing with sedition. So basically sedition, what does sedition mean?
Sending
Against this.
sort of thing.
Spreading disaffection against the state, not criticizing. Spreading disaffection against the state. So sedition law or section 124A of IPC is a colonial era law. It's a British law. Basically the British used it to suppress freedom of speech and expression, to suppress the masses. Okay. And after independence we have continued with sedition law basically to curtail the freedom of speech and expression. Okay. Of individuals who do not agree with the word.
Is it still there?
Yes, it's still there. Recently who was arrested under sedition law? Kumar, JNU student president, and Umar Khalid. But she wasn't.
She wasn't, but like what they did was.
So section 124A of IPC, even there was a law a few years back, section 66A of ITR. Okay, that law has been struck down recently by Supreme Court. Okay, so it was also an example of something which was legal but unethical, because it was being misused to harass people. What was section 66A of IT Information Technology Act? Basically, it stated that if any individual is using any electronic medium, okay, for spreading communication or a message that causes inconvenience or annoyance to other person or community, then that person can be prosecuted. Okay. Now again, the language of the act or the language of that section was very ambiguous, causing annoyance, causing inconvenience. Okay, something which is causing annoyance to you might not cause annoyance to me. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With that act, this section 66A of IT Act, it was being misused to curb the freedom of speech and expression. In fact, one of the first incidents of misuse of the act took place in Maharashtra. Yeah, when two girls, they had written on their Facebook post, there was Maharashtra Bandh because of the death of Bal Thackeray. Okay, and then they had questioned why the entire Maharashtra, why Bandh is being observed in the entire state, and because of that, people are a lot of inconvenience has to be faced by the people. And then she was arrested under section 66A of the IPS. Okay, so that's why again, that was just one of the starting incidents. That law was misused numerous times. Okay, in a number of states.
So RTA can be indicted.
RTA. Why?
It's illegal. It is used for unethical way to harass someone.
See, again, you have to analyze the net effect of an act. Every act is subject to misuse. Okay, or every law is subject to misuse. But whether the misuse is an exception or the norm. And the RTI misuse is an exception, not the norm. Okay, section 66A of IT Act, misuse was the norm. That's why it was struck down by Supreme Court.
So while giving exams, they have to consider the merit of that particular.
Yeah, so you'll have to consider only those acts where the negative outweighs the positive. Are you understand? And finally, unethical, illegal. Again, most of the laws fall in this category. Okay, there are laws there are laws against terrorism, against various crimes. Okay, those activities are illegal and those activities are also unethical. So our main concern is these: ethical, illegal, unethical. Okay. So if any question comes, you can just make this table and just give examples. You don't have to write anything else. This table would be self-explanatory.
Just with the issue for
The question.
yes, so we can delete it.
Yeah, what is ethical can be illegal and what is legal can be unethical. Critically examine the statement. And get a question. What is ethical can be illegal. And what is legal can be unethical.
So given you had to fulfill that wording,
Yeah.
is there execution?
You don't have to fulfill, you don't have to exceed the word limit. If you are able to communicate what you want to communicate in 50 words or 70 words, it's fine. So if you write all these things in the form of text, it will take much more words. If you are able to communicate it and compress it in the form of a table, okay, the content is the same. What you have to convey, you are able to convey. So as an examiner, I would rather want the students to use visual representations than text. That is more appealing. Okay. Apart from that, you can use few lines also. I'm not saying it just leave the answer to this table. Okay, but a table or a Venn diagram or some form of visual representation is always more appealing to the exam. Text becomes, see, I'm not going to read each and every word of your text. If you write, if your entire answer is in the form of text, okay, I don't think the examiner reads each and every word. But table it is much easier to look. So in your answers, try to include visual representations, not just in ethics, in GS papers, in optional, in essay, everywhere, wherever possible. Zabardasti nahi karni hai, but wherever possible you can, you should use. Next, ethics and religion. So we have discussed ethics and culture, ethics and law. Next is ethics and religion. So what is the relation between ethics and religion?
This is general universal.
Okay.
Religious norms are not universal. Yes.
The religious norms are not universal.
Some religious norms.
Okay. Anything else? See, ethics is, or rather religion is one of the sources of ethics. Religion जो है, religious texts and religious teachings, they are one of the sources of ethics. In fact, we have a different branch within ethics. There is a different branch called religious ethics, which focuses on religion and religious teachings and what are the ethical principles that different religions teach us. Okay. Now the problem is not with religion or with religious literature or religious values. The problem is misinterpretation of religion. Essentially, if you look at the religious literature or if you analyze religious texts, none of the religions teach us things which are unethical. Okay. It is the misinterpretation of the religious text that gives rise to unethical activities. Okay. For instance, the fundamental cause of Islamic fundamentalism or Islamic jihad is what? What is the fundamental reason for, say, instability in West Asia or Islamic fundamentalism?
Regarding Al Saud, who spread that, who misinterpreted it.
It has to
Quran
be.
and
Or it has to be
Sunnis are the one who should rule for the superior community, and all the other communities are inferior to them, and they should be the leaders and they should be the rulers of the. This was something which he has spread and he interpreted in that fashion, and that is one of the reasons.
there should be only one religion that is Islamic.
It's not written in Quran. See, the fundamental cause, as you were saying, if you analyze the root cause of terrorism or Islamic terrorism or Islamic fundamentalism or the entire instability in West Asia, the root cause is Shia-Sunni conflict. Okay. In fact, the rise of ISIS, Islamic State, can also be traced to Shia-Sunni conflict in Iraq. Okay. And again, Shia-Sunni conflict, the roots of Shia-Sunni conflict can be traced to misinterpretation of religious text, Islamic religious text. Okay. The proponents like the Shias, they gave a particular interpretation, and the Sunnis, they gave a particular interpretation of Quran. Okay. So the Sunnis believe that after Prophet Muhammad's death, okay, one of his advisors should become the Caliph of Islam, the religious head of Islam. Whereas the Shias wanted his brother-in-law to become the new prophet, to become the new Caliph. Okay, so there were disagreements regarding the interpretation of what Prophet had written in Quran, Prophet Muhammad. Okay. So most of the problems arise because of misinterpretation of religious text, misinterpretation of religious literature. Okay. Similarly, right-wing fundamentalism, Islamic fundamentalism is just one part. In recent times, there has been increase in right-wing fundamentalism in India, cow vigilantism, war actions, etc. Again, they try to justify their actions invoking Vedas and Puranas and what's there in ancient Indian literature. So it's a case of misinterpretation of text. Okay. So if a question comes on ethics and religion, what is the relationship between ethics and religion? Religion is one of the sources of ethics, and most of the religions teach us ethical values. Okay. However, it is misinterpretation of religion that leads to unethical activities, and then you should give examples to show misinterpretation of religion, how religion is misinterpreted, it is misused by vested interests to create conflicts. Okay? Ethics and religion. So religion per se is not the problem. Okay, misuse of religion is the problem. Okay. Essentially, see, all the religions teach us the same values: universal brotherhood, equality, tolerance. None of the religions teach us bad things. Okay. ये fallacy. This is just relation between ethics and religion. Ethics and religion. यहाँ पर अगर थोड़ा if you stretch the argument, the fallacy could be that when you confuse ethics with religion, whatever is written in the religious text, whatever is written in the religious literature, okay, they are ethical. Okay. So here, basically, you have the religious texts have to be interpreted in a progressive and a liberal manner. Can you understand? Because those texts were written in a particular context in ancient times. The context has changed. So those texts should not be interpreted literally. Okay, if you have read modern Indian history, जब socio-cultural reforms हो रहे थे, the Renaissance, the Indian Renaissance that took place. Okay, so there were two category of people. Okay, कौन थे?
Religious.
Yeah, within religious reformers there were reformists and revivalists. Okay. So reformists, they provided a liberal interpretation of religious texts. Revivalists, they focused on literal interpretation in a very limited parochial manner. Okay. So yeah. So revivalists basically they confused ethics with religion, literal interpretation of religious texts. Reformists, they provided a progressive interpretation. Okay, the fallacy here is when you confuse literal interpretation of religion with ethics. Okay, religious texts have to be interpreted in the context of changing times. Okay, and given a modern and progressive interpretation. Okay. slippery slope argument. Slippery. You slip. Slippery slope argument. It's a fallacy. It is an argument. Yes, slippery slope argument. It is an argument that an action is morally impermissible is morally impermissible not because it is morally objectionable per se, not because it is morally objectionable per se, but it will lead to a series of actions or consequences that would be morally objectionable. Series of actions or consequences that would be morally objectionable. Okay. So, what is the slippery slope argument? It is an argument that an action is not morally impermissible, or an action is morally impermissible not because it is morally objectionable per se, but it will lead to a series of consequences or outcomes that would be morally objectionable. For example, if we follow the slippery slope argument, we would have an objection with A, not because A is morally objectionable per se, but A will lead to B, B will lead to C, C will lead to D, and D is morally objectionable. Therefore, A should not be morally allowed. You understand? So it is a kind of extrapolation of an argument without any empirical validity. We say that if we do this, this will lead to this, this will lead to this. Therefore, we should not do this. Okay. For example, euthanasia. So euthanasia, one of the arguments against euthanasia is that if we allow euthanasia, you understand euthanasia? If we allow euthanasia, it will lead to involuntary killings or murders. And again, there is no empirical basis to show this. It is sort of extrapolating or stretching your argument. Okay. So euthanasia is not morally objectionable per se, but what is morally objectionable? That it will lead to involuntary killings or murders, for which there is no empirical validity, there is no empirical proof. Okay. Similarly, one of the arguments for not allowing sex education in school is that if sex education is allowed in school, it will lead to rampant sexual promiscuity. Okay, sexual promiscuity means the unethical behavior on part of the youth.
We are as a India, it's not applicable in the Indian society. But as we are talking about the Western society, it's applicable to
But that's what I'm saying. In India, the argument against sex education is this: the conservative sections of the society, they give an argument that sex education should not be allowed in school, because if it is allowed in schools, then it will lead to rampant sexual promiscuity. Are you understanding? So they do not have a problem with sex education per se, but they are assuming that if it is allowed, then it will lead to certain consequences, for which again there is no empirical proof.
It will be for a certain period of time. After a certain period of time, it will be in a proper way of progress.
Even for certain period of time also that will happen, उसका कोई proof नहीं है, वो होगा ही नहीं, या वो होगा उसका कोई evidence नहीं है. You are just imagining.
It's a rational thing. So if you are allowing something, teaching something, for a certain period of time, it will have an ambiguity or a crisis-like situation. If people in a situation not mature at that time, but a particular period of time, particular section of that age. So they will have an progressive maturity age. After some period of time, they will enter the second phase.
Yeah, but your initial assumption only is questionable. You are assuming if it will happen, then it will lead to a certain set of actions.
So it may be in any case. We have
Again, internationally, if you see example, there is no evidence. Those countries where sex education was introduced, there was no evidence to show that it led to such incidents. Okay, things were happening earlier also, things will continue to happen even after introduction of sex education also. Because of introduction of sex education, it will lead to certain kind of behavior. There is no empirical proof across the world. Okay, it's inside our head. Okay. So again, it's basically extrapolation of your imagination. You are on a slippery slope. Understand? You don't know where to stop. Okay. And the last fallacy and a small fallacy is that two wrongs do not make a right. Two wrongs do not make a right. Okay. So just because others are doing a wrong thing, that does not justify you doing the same thing.
So 2W or
2W. TW. Two wrongs do not make a right. Okay. So generally one of the arguments that we give is everybody is doing it. So just because everybody is doing something wrong, it does not justify you doing the same thing. Okay.
But 2 wrongs means more than 1 wrong.
Yeah, more than one. 2 wrongs. 2 wrongs. Okay, it can be 3 wrongs also, 4 wrongs also. Okay. It's just a way of saying that 2 wrongs. Okay. So these are all fallacies. Okay. When we confuse ethics with culture, when we confuse ethics with law, when we confuse ethics with religion. Okay. When we give a slippery slope argument, or when we say that something is ethically valid or invalid just because others are doing it or not doing it. Okay, all these are fallacies in ethical reasoning. Okay. So we have discussed what is ethics, morals and values along with examples. We have discussed fallacies in ethical reasoning. That is what ethics is now. Next is importance of ethics. Importance of ethics. Why do we need ethics at all? Why do we need to know about ethics, read about ethics? Okay, why is ethics important? The importance of ethics can be analyzed at 2 levels. So what is the importance of ethics? Why do we need ethics? Okay. So importance of ethics can be analyzed at an individual level and at a society level. Okay. At an individual level further, ethics can have intrinsic importance or instrumental importance. Intrinsic means, ethics is an end in itself. It has its intrinsic importance. It is important as a principle. It is important to be ethical. And instrumental means it is an instrument to achieve something else. It is a means to achieve something else. Okay. So at an individual level, first of all, let us talk about the importance of ethics at an individual level. What is the intrinsic importance of ethics?
It is universally accepted.
It is universally accepted, and ethics is needed to live a good and fulfilling life. Okay, to lead a virtuous life. Okay. What distinguishes human beings from animals is their conscience. Understand conscience? Your internal voice. Okay. And that conscience, that internal voice basically stimulates you towards taking ethical decisions. Okay. Human beings are thinking, rational, choosing creatures, unlike animals. And what distinguishes human beings from animals is ethics, their ability to follow ethics. Okay. So at an individual level, ethics is intrinsically important as human beings for achieving self-actualization, for achieving self-realization. It is important to follow ethical conduct. Okay. That is the intrinsic importance. Okay. You can write a quote of Aristotle. In considering why I should be ethical, in considering why I should be ethical, I should take a long-term view of myself. Of what I should be, long-term view of myself, of what I should be, and seek the answer to the question, of what I should do in that light, of what I should do in that light. Developing a habit of taking bribes, for example, same quote. Developing a habit of taking bribes, for example, will corrupt my very being. Will corrupt my very being, B-E-I-N-G, being, and rob me of my mental peace. Mental peace, and rob me of my mental peace. Okay. So basically, this quote, this is a quote by Aristotle. Okay. This quote sort of highlights the importance of ethics in human life. Why, as human beings, we should follow ethics. Okay. So again, you should try to include such quotes in your answers. You might not be able to remember each and every word of the quote. Okay, it's quite a long quote, but again, if you are able to convey the essence of the quote, okay, that is more than enough. That is more than enough. Okay, so this is the intrinsic importance that ethics is needed at an individual level to lead a fulfilling life, to lead a good life, to lead a virtuous life, to achieve self-realization and self-actualization. The instrumental importance is that knowledge of ethics helps us in resolving ethical dilemmas. Okay, knowledge of ethics helps individuals to resolve ethical dilemmas. Whenever you are facing an ethical dilemma, if you are aware of different ethical theories, okay, and different dimensions of ethics, then you will be able to resolve ethical dilemmas in a much more systematic manner. So that is the instrumental importance, that knowledge of ethics is a means towards achieving something else, resolution of ethical dilemmas. Okay? So this is importance of ethics at an individual level. Second is importance of ethics at societal level. Why do we need ethics at a societal level?
Peace and cooperation.
chaos in the system. Yes. The natural tendency of any society, is towards entropy. You understand entropy? पढ़ा होगा physics, chemistry. What does entropy mean? Randomness, disorder, and stability. Okay. Ethics is needed to achieve negative entropy. Okay, ethics is needed to achieve negative entropy. Okay, so basically the natural tendency of any society is towards entropy, which means chaos, instability, randomness. So if given a choice, okay, none of us would like to follow ethics or follow rules, regulations, laws, proper behavior, etc. Okay, why do we follow ethics? Because we know that if we don't follow ethics, the other person will also not follow ethics. Okay, if we steal, the other person will also steal. If we jump the red light, the other person will also jump the red light. Okay, so again, ethics act as a limitation on our behavior. Ethics constrained by values, motivation, we discussed. So ethics act as a limitation on our behavior and actions. Okay, because we know that if all of us don't follow ethics, it will lead to chaos. It will lead to instability. Okay. In fact, historically, if you see, civilizations and nations rise and fall because of unethical conduct of the leaders and the citizens of that country, of that culture. So societies rise and fall because of ethical or unethical conduct on part of the leaders and the citizens. So if you read world history, one of the reasons for the fall of Roman Empire, ancient Roman Empire, was corruption. Corruption amongst the leaders. Okay. So because of lack of ethics on part of the leaders of the Roman Empire, ultimately the Roman Empire fell. Okay. Similarly, in the Indian context, in case of Mughal Empire, in the later Mughal period, after Aurangzeb, okay, one of the reasons why the Mughal Empire declined was again corruption and lack of ethical conduct. Okay, on part of the emperors or rulers also, and on part of the citizenry also. Okay, so civilizations and empires have risen and fallen because of ethics or rather lack of ethics. Understand? Similarly, in present times, in contemporary times, Japan is a very good example of the importance of ethics at societal level. Japan is a very small country, an island country, and it has no resources. It has no raw materials for industrial development. Coal, iron ore, ये सब नहीं है. ठीक है? Agriculturally, soil is not fertile. Okay. In the name of minerals, it just has rare earth metals and nuclear minerals. Okay. Plus, every year it is prone to so many disasters, natural calamities, tsunami, floods, earthquake, etc. In spite of all these limitations, Japan has emerged as one of the developed and technically advanced countries. And a large part of it can be attributed to the ethical conduct of the leaders and the people. Have you met any Japanese person? They are so polite, they are so courteous, they are so disciplined. Okay. So in Japan, the work culture is such, the society work culture is such that the trains there, they are, I mean, if they are late by even a centisecond, then the railways there, they render an apology to the passengers. The train was late by 5 seconds, so we are sorry for the inconvenience. Such is the work culture I am talking about. Okay. So we recently, FIFA World Cup, when it was happening, this
clean the
What is the Japanese spectators do? They clean the stadium.
Even after the loss.
Huh?
Even after the
Even after they lost. Okay, so such is the work ethic. That is the work ethic of the entire Japanese population. Recently, I was watching a video on Facebook. Okay, in that video, there was a cat. Okay, on the side of the road, and she was waiting for the green light to turn red, so that she could cross the road. When the green light would turn red, then she was waiting to cross the road. Okay, that was from Japan. So even the animals in Japan, they follow rules. They have civic sense. Okay. So again, it's part of the work culture there. And a nation is nothing but the citizens. A nation is what the citizens do. Okay. So if citizens act in an ethical manner, then the civilization will prosper, the nation will prosper. That's why Japan is where it is and India is where it is. Okay. Yeah. So basically the point I was trying to convey is that societies and civilizations rise and fall because of ethics, because of ethical conduct or lack of ethical conduct on part of the leaders and the citizens. Okay? So that is the importance of ethics at society. See again, if any question comes, you have to give these common examples. You don't have to write theory in ethics. No, you have to focus on examples, importance of ethics in individual life. Examples, importance of ethics at society level, examples. Plus you have to relate it to current developments. For example, say the question comes, what is the importance of ethics in human life? Okay. Current developments से कैसे relate करिएगा? How will you relate this question to whatever is happening around us in contemporary times? Newspaper तो ठीक है, but what will you write? Like if this question comes, how will you relate it to current development? What will you write? In current times, how is ethics important?
We can talk about the laws which have been brought, basically the bribery sort of thing. Amendment to the taking and giving bribery is also, so that aspect, these laws which
people who wear stays at the church or school before going their homes, they actually clean that particular school, so that reflects their values and thesis.
Yeah, so basically in contemporary times, ethics is needed on part of all the stakeholders to achieve the objectives of inclusive and sustainable development. Okay, so the contemporary language क्या है? Inclusive and sustainable development. हर चीज के लिए कि how it will help in achieving inclusive and sustainable development. Okay, so how ethics or following ethics by different stakeholders, by the government, by the private sector, by the civil society and citizens in general, by the media, all these are stakeholders. Yesterday we talked about the idea of governance, and I told that governance is a collective problem solving activity. A number of stakeholders are involved. Government is there, private sector or markets are there, civil society, citizens groups are there, media is there. So ethics is needed on part of all these institutions, by the government, by the private sector, by the public, civil society, citizens, by the media, to achieve the objectives of good governance, to achieve the objectives of inclusive and sustainable development. Then you can give examples. For example, the objectives of Swachh Bharat mission cannot be achieved until unless citizens contribute, until unless citizens behave in an ethical manner. They stop littering in the public. And similarly, corruption cannot be eliminated till the time people stop paying bribes. The amendment that you were talking about. Okay. So again, all these stakeholders have a responsibility to act ethically. Then only inclusive and sustainable development can be achieved. Okay. So any question में contemporary orientation रखना है.
Which means social behavior.
Which needs behavioral change. Yeah. For that, the ethical fiber of the society needs to be strengthened. Ethical fiber of all the stakeholders needs to be strengthened. Okay. So that is the importance of ethics. So any question on importance of ethics, apart from the theory that we have discussed, try to relate it to contemporary times. How in contemporary times ethics is very important. Okay, next is dimensions of ethics. So we have discussed importance of ethics. Next topic here is dimensions of ethics. So there are three dimensions of ethics: meta-ethics, normative ethics, and applied ethics. Okay, so let us discuss them one by one. First is meta-ethics. Meta-ethics. It is a branch of ethics that deals with larger philosophical questions. That deals with larger philosophical questions regarding the nature of ethical theory itself. Regarding the nature of ethical theory itself. Okay, so meta-ethics deals with larger philosophical questions regarding the nature of ethical theory itself. Okay, for example, it deals with questions such as what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong. ये जो larger philosophy है underlying ethics, meta-ethics deals with that. Okay. For instance, in Indian literature, which text deals with these philosophical questions? Ancient history पढ़ा है? Upanishads. Upanishads deal with larger philosophical questions regarding the nature of human existence, okay, nature of the universe, okay, integration of Atman and Paramatman, etc. Now, yesterday only I told you that you don't have to read philosophy. Meta-ethics deals with philosophical questions, it deals with philosophy. So our focus should not be on the theoretical philosophical part. Okay, we have to relate it to current times. In current times, if a question is to come on concepts which have subjective interpretation, okay, so what kind of questions can come? Okay, for example, a question can come related to nationalism and patriotism. In recent times, nationalism has been in news, in a lot of debate. If you have been reading newspapers, if you have been following debates, you realize that nationalism, patriotism, these are the concepts and these have been in news. So you can expect a question on nationalism and patriotism. Okay. What is the difference between nationalism and patriotism? What is nationalism?
Sense and extreme form of patriotism.
Nationalism is an extreme form of patriotism. Okay, how?
So whatever the country does, it is right.
Yes, whatever the country does is right, is nationalism. Patriotism क्या है?
Sense of allegiance.
So nationalism is developing a sense of national identity and a sense of national consciousness. Okay, and as you said, a nationalist supports his or her country irrespective of what it does. Blind support to the country. My country is the best. That is what a nationalist does. Patriotism, on the other hand, is rational or reasoned support to the country. So a nationalist supports the country for anything that it does, and a patriot supports his or her country on the basis of merit of the case. Okay, it's not blind support. Okay. So in modern contemporary times, nationalism emerged when? When did nationalism emerge? Nationalism as a sense of collective identity, as a sense of collective consciousness. When did it start to emerge? Struggle for independence. Yeah, so basically after the socio-cultural and religious reforms. Before that, Indians did not have a sense of identity. They did not have a sense of national consciousness. And that was one of the primary reasons why such a small company such as East India Company was able to consolidate its political rule over it. Okay. Similarly, you can get a question on nationalism and regionalism. Okay, what is nationalism and regionalism? Are they in conflict with each other? Can they be reconciled? Okay, you can get a question on nationalism and regionalism. Okay. So how will you approach the question? Is there an inherent conflict between nationalism and regionalism, or can they be reconciled? What is regionalism?
Whichever the region they belong to, which is a part of the nation, they show allegiance to it.
Showing allegiance to a particular region.
Particular influence in particular region. Particular influence in particular region.
Particular influence. What kind of influence?
It can be of religious, social, party ways, language ways, everything.
So what are the different manifestations of regionalism? What are the different, in what forms regionalism manifests itself? Linguism, or rather linguistic chauvinism, is one manifestation. Or ethnicism, ethnic conflicts. Or demand for greater autonomy. Okay, demand for separate statehood.
Nation. Separate nation.
Yeah, that is an extreme form of regionalism. That is secessionism. Where you develop secessionist tendencies. Okay, you want to break away from the nation. Okay, interstate river water disputes is another form of regionalism. Okay, then sons of the soil policy, sons of the soil doctrine is another form of regionalism. You have heard of sons of the soil doctrine? What is it? Sons of the soil doctrine. Basically, it's a doctrine that believes that only the local people from a particular area, they have the right over the local resources. So all the local resources should be only appropriated by the local population, and basically they are against the migrants and the outsiders. Only the local people are sons of the soil, and all the resources, employment opportunities, land, educational facilities should be used only by them. In fact, Shiv Sena came to power using sons of the soil doctrine in 1960s. Bal Thackeray and Shiv Sena, they came to power by starting a movement against the South Indians, Tamilians. And Bombay at that time had a considerable Tamil population. Okay, so they started a movement that the resources of Maharashtra is only for the Marathis, Maharashtrians, not for outsiders. Kashmir is a special case, so generally we don't discuss Kashmir when we talk of regionalism because it has a very specific history. Kashmir ka discussion, let us keep it separate. Even at present times, MNS, Maharashtra Nandan Mansana, okay, it also like uses sons of the soil doctrine as part of his political ideology. Okay, so earlier Shiv Sena used the movement against the South Indians, MNS uses it against the North Indians, people from Bihar, UP, etc. Okay, so these are all manifestations of regionalism. Demand for greater autonomy. In many of the northeastern states, they are demanding greater autonomy, they are demanding separate statehood, interstate river water disputes, linguistic chauvinism, sons of the soil doctrine, and secessionism or breaking away, the desire to break away from the nation is the most extreme. Okay. Now, if a question comes that can regionalism and nationalism be reconciled? What will you write? Reconciled means can they be balanced? Okay. Is there an inherent contradiction between the two? Or can they be balanced? What will you write?
Regarding the federal structure, on that lines, we can talk about
What exactly?
strengthening the local self-government. Giving greater finances, giving the financial autonomy so that they also develop.
The regionalism should be the allegiance to their region, but it should not be a threat to the national.
Yes. So, see, in a diverse and pluralistic country such as India, okay, regionalism is not bad per se. It is not bad principle. So if people of a particular region or a particular state, they want the best for their state, there is nothing wrong in it. Okay. Till the time it does not undermine the unity and integrity of the nation. Till the time it does not become violent and militant and aggressive. Till the time different regions, different states, different sections of the society are conveying their demands and concerns, okay, within constitutional limits, within the rule of law, okay, regionalism is perfectly fine. In fact, it is desirable. It is not just acceptable, but it is desirable. Because if they do not express their concerns and demands through regional movements and through regionalism, then regionalism might transform into secessionism. If you try to suppress regional movements and regional demands, then it will backfire. It will come out in a more violent, aggressive manner.
Because cooperative is completely better.
Yeah. So one of the solutions to ensure that regionalism does not become secessionism is to bring about cooperative federalism. As we were saying, giving greater power to states, to local bodies, because ज़्यादा autonomy देना उन्हें. Okay. So there is no inherent contradiction. In fact, we have so many like provisions within the constitution and within laws to accommodate different regional tendencies. So we have Article 370. We have Article 371. Article 371 के अंदर we have special provisions for different regions, for different states. For Maharashtra, for Gujarat, earlier for Telangana was there, for northeastern states are there. Okay, we have 5th and 6th scheduled areas. 5th scheduled areas and 6th scheduled areas have special provisions for tribal regions. Okay, so already accommodation of like different regional tendencies and different regional demands and concerns, it's part of our constitution and law. So there is no inherent contradiction. Okay, till the time regional movements, they do not undermine our unity and integrity, they do not become violent and aggressive, they can be reconciled. Okay, and how they can be reconciled? Through cooperative federalism. Okay, by respecting the autonomy of states, by giving more power to local governments, by implementing 73rd and 74th Amendment in letter and spirit. All these would be solutions to balance regionalism and nationalism. Okay? So you can expect a question on these topics because these issues have been in news in recent times. Nationalism, patriotism, regionalism, etc. Okay? Okay. Ethical skepticism. Next is ethical skepticism. अभी हम लोग मेटा एथिक्स का ही बात कर रहे हैं। मेटा एथिक्स में नेक्स्ट टॉपिक इज एथिकल स्केप्टिसिज्म। So who are skeptics? You understand skepticism? Skeptics are people who do not believe in a particular thing. They are cynical. है ना? They reject a particular philosophy. Skeptics. Okay. Ethical skeptics are those people who believe that it is not possible to follow ethics in human life. They are skeptical, cynical about ethics. Okay. So ethical skepticism is a philosophy that believes that it is not possible to follow ethics in human life. Now within ethical skeptics there are two categories of people. The first category of people believe that human beings are incapable of following ethics. So, within ethical skeptics, there are two categories of people. The first category of ethical skeptics, they believe that human beings are incapable of following ethics. They are not capable of following ethics at all. Okay. Second category of people believe that although human beings are capable, but they are not able to follow ethics because of two reasons. Okay. So let us discuss. First category of ethical skeptics हैं those who believe that human beings are incapable of following ethics. Okay. Now they base their philosophy on something called psychological egoism. Why human beings are incapable of following ethics? Psychological egoism. Okay. So they believe that human beings follow basically what in philosophy is known as psychological egoism. Basically, psychological egoism believes that human beings are inherently selfish, and all they want is to maximize their self-interest. They indulge in self-preservation. Okay. So again, the proponents of psychological egoism believe that altruism is an illusion. Altruism, you understand? Doing good to others is an illusion. There is no such thing as a selfless act. You understand? So this is what the first category of ethical skeptics who have based their philosophy on the psychological egoism. They believe that human beings are incapable of following ethics because they are inherently selfish. They want to maximize their self-interest. Okay, and there is no such thing as a selfless act. Altruism is an illusion. Altruism exists नहीं करता है. Okay, that's why they are skeptical about ethics. Okay. The second category of people, or the second category of ethical skeptics, they believe that although human beings are capable of following ethics, okay, however they are not able to. Why? First, because of ethical relativism. Now there is this concept called ethical relativism, ethical absolutism, and ethical realism. Relativism. So ethical relativism has two parts. Moral relativism and cultural relativism. Okay. So ethical, first of all, let us try to understand what ethical relativism is. Ethical relativism is a philosophy. Ethical relativism is a philosophy that believes that there are no universal ethical standards that apply across different cultures and individuals. Okay, that apply across different cultures and individuals. Ethical relativists, जो हैं, the proponents of ethical relativism, the supporters of ethical relativism, they believe that there are no universal ethical standards, there are no universal principles that apply across different cultures and different individuals. Okay, so when we were discussing values, we discussed that different cultures and different societies have their own value system. Okay, similarly when we were discussing morals, I told you that different individuals have their own morals. So ethical relativists believe that all the values are subjective and all the morals are subjective, as in कोई universal value है नहीं, there are no universal values at all. Okay, and there are no universal morals at all. Okay, so cultural relativism का क्या मतलब है? Values differ across different cultures. There are no universal values that are applicable across different cultures. And moral relativism means that morals differ from individual to individual. There are no universal morals which apply across all individuals. Okay. The contemporary view is that although values differ from culture to culture, we have discussed these examples, and morals differ from individual to individual, at the same time there are certain universal values and morals which have universal acceptance. Okay, so the contemporary thinkers, they have rejected ethical relativism. Okay, for example, we have something called UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UN UDHR. Now the values which have been outlined in UDHR, those are universal values. Okay, for example, right to life, right to liberty, equality, brotherhood, and all these are values which have been codified in UDHR. Now no society or culture can say that no, our culture does not allow us to follow these values. Are you understanding? Similarly, we have something called International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. And it's an international convention, international treaty, UN का. Now it gives civil and political rights, or it outlines civil and political rights which need to be given to people of different countries. For example, freedom of speech and expression, rights of minorities, right to privacy, right to self-determination. Okay, so all these are rights which have universal acceptance. No culture or no country can hide behind its cultural norms to say that we do not believe in these values. I understand. So for example, there are authoritarian countries such as Russia, China, North Korea, etc. They do not give freedom of speech and expression to their people, to their citizens, saying that it's not part of their political culture. So again, ethical relativists would support such a move. However, the general consensus is that you cannot hide behind your culture to do things which are ethically unacceptable. Okay. Similarly, at an individual level, there are certain universal values: honesty, non-violence, okay, principle of beneficence. Beneficence means doing good to others. Okay, truthfulness. Now, आप ये कह सकते हैं कि no, I do not believe in honesty. My morals do not allow me to speak the truth. Are you understanding? These are universal values, okay, which ought to be followed by all individuals. So basically, in contemporary times, both cultural relativism as well as moral relativism has been rejected. Are you understanding? While there is agreement to an extent, that to an extent values differ from culture to culture, morals differ from individual to individual, but at the same time there are universal values and morals that should be universally applied across different cultures and individuals. Clear? Yeah. In fact, in Jainism there is a philosophy called Anekantavada philosophy. You have heard of Anekantavada philosophy? That truth has many dimensions. Basically, every phenomenon has multiple dimensions. Anek means many, multiple dimension. Okay. So whatever we see is a perspective, not the reality. Whatever we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Okay. So basically, our perception of reality is based on the basis of our subjective experience. Whatever we have experienced, we start to see reality on the basis of our subjective experience. Okay. So that is what moral relativists say, that there is no such thing as universal truth. Okay. That is how they try to justify their ideology. Okay. But again, this has to be rejected. In contemporary time, this has been rejected. Okay. See, on the one end of the spectrum, we have ethical relativism, which believe that everything is relative. On the other end of the spectrum, we have ethical absolutism. Okay, the proponents of ethical absolutism believe that everything is absolute. Okay, there are absolute values which ought to be followed across different cultures and individuals. Okay. And in the middle we have something called ethical realism, which is a mix of ethical relativism and ethical absolutism. So always the correct path is the middle path, in examination as well as in life. So on one end of the spectrum we have ethical relativism, which has been rejected. On the other end of the spectrum we have ethical absolutism, that everything is absolute. Okay, it also has been rejected. What has been accepted is ethical realism, which is a mix of ethical relativism and ethical absolutism. Okay. So ethical realism, वही believe करता है, which I told you. They believe that there are values which differ across cultures and individuals. At the same time, there are universal values. Okay. So again, if any question comes on ethical relativism or ethical realism, give examples. Okay, how there are certain universal values. UDHR का या International Covenant on Certain Political Rights का, give those examples to show that there are certain universal values. Okay. Yeah. So basically, we were discussing ethical skepticism. So the second category of ethical skeptics, they believe that although human beings are capable of following ethics, but they are not able to because of first is ethical relativism. They believe that there are no universal values. So how can human beings be ethical? We do not know what does like being ethical mean, which are the values which should be followed at a cultural level and at an individual level. So because of ethical relativism, it is not possible for human beings to follow ethics because there are no universal ethical values. Clear? The second reason why ethical skeptics believe that human beings are incapable or human beings are not able to follow ethics is the philosophy of determinism and free will. Okay. So according to this philosophy, like the supporters of this philosophy, they say that human beings are not autonomous agents. Okay. Everything is predetermined. Are you understanding? Human beings are not autonomous agents. Everything is predetermined, and whatever they are doing because of the instructions of a higher entity, of a higher power. So I am doing a particular action because I have been instructed by God to do it. There is a higher power. I do not have free will. I am not an autonomous agent. Okay, therefore I cannot be held accountable. I cannot be held morally accountable for my action. I understand. This is the philosophy of determinism and free will. Everything is predetermined. I am not a free agent. I am not an autonomous agent. Whatever I am doing because God has asked me to do, and therefore I cannot be held morally accountable for my action. Again, in ancient Indian philosophy, which sect believe in this?
Fatalists.
Fatalists. Fatalists are not a sect. Fatalists mean that you leave everything on destiny. But they are not a sect. There is a particular sect. Ajivika sect. And Ajivika sect believed in this doctrine of predeterminism. Niyati doctrine. Niyati doctrine. Okay. Again, ethical skepticism has been rejected in contemporary times. Psychological egoism has been rejected. पहला जो first category of ethical skeptics believe in psychological egoism. They believe that human beings are inherently selfish and there is no such thing as altruism. Okay, this again in contemporary times this has been rejected. Okay, we have so many examples of selfless acts. For instance, acts of soldiers or parents sacrificing their lives for children. Okay, those are selfless acts जिसमें कोई hidden motive या hidden objective नहीं है. There is no hidden objective in such acts. So the idea or the philosophy that human beings are inherently selfish and there is no such thing as a selfless act has been rejected. Okay, this also has been rejected. Ethical relativism, we have already discussed that it has been rejected, and the doctrine of predeterminism or determinism and free will, this also has been rejected. So contemporary views क्या है? According to contemporary views, the morality of any action depends on three factors. The morality of any action depends on three factors. First, voluntary or involuntary nature of the action. Voluntary or involuntary nature of the action. Second, the purpose of the action. And third, the circumstances of the action. The circumstances of the action. Okay, so whenever you have to assess the accountability of a moral agent, whenever you have to basically decide or analyze the morality of any action, these three factors have to be considered. Okay, first is voluntary or involuntary nature of the action. Whether the action which was performed, it was done voluntarily or whether you were forced to do something. For example, if you are being blackmailed to do something, then the contemporary view is that you cannot be held accountable for that action. You cannot be held morally accountable for that action. Okay. Second is purpose of the action. Whether you had the intention to commit that act or not. The intention matters. The purpose was there or not. So in criminal investigation, there is a term called mens rea. What does mens rea mean? Mens rea means criminal intent. तो जब भी कोई क्राइम होता है, सबसे पहले the first thing that the police or the law enforcement agency tries to assess is motive of crime. What was the motive? Okay, whether there was a purpose or not, whether there was intention or not. Okay. For example, cases of accidents, traffic accidents जो होते हैं. So if you kill somebody in a traffic accident, then you are not charged of murder because the intention was not there to kill. I understand. So that's why the punishment in case of a death of a person in road accidents as compared to a murder is much less because the intention was not there. Okay, so the intention matters. And lastly, the circumstances of action. Under what circumstances an action was committed. Okay, what was the time, what was the place? For instance, if you say if you kill somebody in self-defense, then again the punishment is much less as compared to a murder because the circumstances were such that you were left with no other option. Either if you would have killed that person would have killed. Okay. So in contemporary times, while assessing the morality of any action, whenever we have to assess whether an action is moral or not, and we have to fix accountability of moral agents, moral agent means any individual, then these three factors have to be considered. Voluntary or involuntary, nature of the action, purpose of the action and circumstances of the action. Clear? Any doubts? So अभी तक क्या क्या कर लिया हमने? We have discussed the concept of ethics, morals, values. We discussed fallacies in ethical reasoning, where we discussed relationship between ethics and culture, ethics and law, ethics and religion. Plus we discussed few other fallacies such as slippery slope argument, two wrongs do not make right, etc. Then we discussed importance of ethics in human life at an individual level, at a society level. Then we started discussing dimensions of ethics. This was the first dimension. अभी तक हमने जितना डिस्कस किया ये सब मेटा एथिक्स का पार्ट है ना. मेटा एथिक्स में we discussed things such as nationalism, patriotism, regionalism. Okay, you can get a question in paper 4 as well as in paper 2 on these things. Then we discussed ethical relativism, ethical absolutism, and ethical realism. Either ethical relativism is correct, either ethical absolutism is correct. What is correct is ethical realism. Then we discussed ethical skepticism. The ethical skeptics are those people who do not believe that human beings can follow ethics. We discussed two categories of ethical skeptics, and then we rejected ethical skepticism also. Okay, we have rejected ethical skepticism, and finally we have concluded by saying that the moral accountability of any individual or any moral agent depends on three factors: the voluntary, involuntary nature of the action, the purpose of action, and the circumstances of action. ठीक है? यहाँ तक clear? Now we will start with the second dimension of ethics, which is normative ethics. अच्छा, ethics खत्म हो गया. Normative ethics. We'll take a break for 10 minutes, and then we'll meet at 12:55.
हुआ?
No, break.